Good morning, Lee. Thank you for joining us today at Seaward to talk about our new software, PATGuard Cloud. Before we get started, could you just give us a little bit of an overview about you and your company, please?
Sure. Well, thank you very much for inviting me along. As I said, my name's Lee. My company is called PAT-iT. We've been trading now for, well, let's say since 2009, and all I've ever used is Seaward products.
Wonderful. Great to hear. So, Seaward products obviously being the PAT testers, which is where PATGuard Cloud comes into play for yourself. How long is it that you've had the PATGuard Cloud software for now?
So when it was released, I think it was in September off the top of my head, that's when I started to bring it into the business. So it's been a slow progression into it, so I haven't gone straight into it because we didn't know how it was going to work with our workflow. So we have used, right from the start, we went from PATGuard 2, PATGuard 3, natural progression as companies move forward, PATGuard Cloud.
Okay, so you've moved on to my next question, which was what methods were you using to manage your portable appliance testing before, which was the PATGuard 2
Absolutely.
and the PATGuard 3.
Always been PATGuards.
Did you have any challenges with that previous software that you found has been overcome from the cloud-based?
No, there's never been any issues. I think it's as you grow, your business grows, and then you realise you need more. And as Seaward's grown and the packages have increased, we've grown with that. So it's always been that sort of natural progression for us. So yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. What features of PATGuard Cloud do you find the most useful for your business so far then? I know it's only been a short time that you've kind of really been utilising it.
There's been a couple of things that have really stood out for us. Specifically the reporting side of things, how quick it is. Just selecting a customer, using the drop-down menu of the different types of report, and within a few seconds it's already generated it. And that's really good. Whereas before, with the size of our databases on PATGuard 3, it's taken minutes. It started to slow down because our database just got
bigger and bigger time, of course.
So we're trying to reduce that down. But no, obviously, online, the cloud has just made it seamless, and it's been very good for that.
Brilliant.
The other thing is some of our contracts specifically want to be able to access their data as soon as possible. Now, I have the business package, which allows me to allow access to my customer, so they can have their own login, they can have their own password, and they can look at exactly what they've had tested, when's it due, what's been tested, what failed, and they can generate their own reports from there as well. So that's been an absolute
So in terms
brilliant.
of, for you really, it's helped streamline your processes, not only internally with the staff concurrent access, but also the customers and the end user, for them being able to access and see the reports that they need to.
100%.
And would you say that's one of the biggest advantages in using the cloud-based solution for PAT testing, or is there anything else that stand out?
The other thing that stands out is the way they, because it's on the cloud, my guys that are out doing the testing, if I haven't downloaded the GAR file for them, they've got access to it on their mobile device. So they can jump straight onto PATGuard Cloud, choose the customer they're about to go in to do the testing for, download that GAR file straight onto the Apollo, and they can start doing a retest from there. So they don't need my intervention to pop back into the office, open up PATGuard 3.
Instant access, the downtime that can be caused obviously with waiting for things back and forth.
It's
really just streamlined it. Brilliant. So then user experience we'll touch on. Obviously it's a new platform, it's a new software, and with that comes its own challenges in terms of getting everyone up to speed. How easy was it for you and your team to get started with PATGuard Cloud? Were there any hurdles in the learning process?
I think learning any new software is always going to have its challenge. But it's not a difficult package. If you've already been using PATGuard 2, PATGuard 3, It's a fairly easy transition because it's so self-explanatory when you go onto it. So looking at the ribbons, and each item clearly says organizer, asset, it's all there.
So the interface is very straightforward.
Absolutely, yeah, you can't go wrong really. Once you've used it for even just a couple of hours, you soon get used to navigating your way around it. To come over some of those difficulties that we first had was looking at how the reports looked. What did we want our customers seeing, or what do they need to see, what don't they need to see? Test results, is it just a pass or a fail? Do they want to see the actual results?
So more of an education on
absolutely.
What you're getting at the end of the reports.
And it was just a case of then going into settings, finding out what works for us and changing colours and things like that, and just making it a bit more bespoke to us, what we needed.
What kind of feedback have you had from your team in terms of the usability of the PATGuard Cloud software?
Well, from my engineer's point of view, simplicity for him. He's just going to open up his mobile device and he's straight into it, and he can access data, upload and download as he needs. Office staff, finding it very efficient now, uploading, downloading data, generating reports, editing, going into those assets. Again, it's making it efficient for them. And even my customers accessing data. So it's just streamlined the whole process for us.
So it's that quick and easy access that
absolutely.
you're finding really beneficial for them.
It has changed from PATGuard 3 to PATGuard Cloud. The efficiency side of things has just increased for us.
In terms of the reporting features in PATGuard Cloud, how has that worked with how you analyse your data?
So although we don't necessarily always go back on previous test data, it's always good to have that paper trail of past results. So if you ever do a test and it looks a bit different, you can always go back on the data. And especially if you've got it on your tablet, you can always have a quick look at that asset ID, trace it back, and you can see what the test results were last year. So you've got that degradation over time, if you like. So you can, why is the installation started to drop off? And we can start to question it, even though it might not be a fail, but you can understand actually, is this piece of equipment started to break down? If over time we can see that, we can actually start to warn. Yeah, exactly. We can start to warn the customer. Actually, this fridge freezer, the insulation's dropping down a little bit. Could be the compressor on its way out. You might want to keep an eye on it moving forward.
And for yourselves as well, then I suppose from an auditing perspective, keeping that history and that trail of the asset within the software.
Keeping records is important to us, and I know that more than anybody when I was called up in court as a witness to why I'd failed a piece of equipment. And having all that information of those previous test results backed up my evidence to say why I failed this on this particular day. And I know it's important to have that record of previous testing.
And just touching on that, how easy is it to access the history of that data?
Oh, it's always been quite easy. I mean, even PATGuard 2, PATGuard 3, and now Cloud, it's very simple. You can go from your client, the site, the location, drill down into the assets. You open the asset up and you'll see in there the different dates it was tested. You can choose any one of those dates, and then you can open that up again and see what the results were on that particular date.
So moving on to field usage, how has the software changed the way the field technicians perform the testing for you?
So nothing's really changed in that respect because we still upload, download GAR files. I suppose the quicker thing that's come out of it, or the more efficient way around it, is if I'm not there on site or not in the office, one of my guys can jump onto PATGuard Cloud and download the data himself if he needs that, or even upload it.
In terms of the technicians then on site, I suppose having a software that isn't vastly different in terms of it taking up their time and training is almost quite comforting as well.
Absolutely. I mean, with the app on a mobile device, my engineers picked up PATGuard Cloud quite quickly, downloading the data onto the device, Bluetoothing it across onto the Apollos, and vice versa. Uploading it onto the device, uploading it into PATGuard Cloud. Straightforward for them.
How comfortable are you with the security of the data on the PATGuard Cloud software?
Well, obviously, as we grow as a business, we have to make sure that we're complying with GDPR. And one of the stipulations is the software is encrypted and it's password protected. And with PATGuard Cloud, we've got that.
One of the benefits of the cloud-based systems is the remote access that we have discussed. How has the ability to access testing data from anywhere improved the team's flexibility, if at all?
Oh, it's definitely increased their flexibility because, as I mentioned, they've got access to the database. Now I can control what functionality they have, so they can't go in and start editing customers. So I've given them limited access where they can download data, upload data, they can view data, but they can't actually edit any data, they can't delete. Same with the customers. If I give a customer access, it's specifically their data they're looking at. Nobody else's, just theirs. So in that respect, they can't go online and start typing in and looking at things and deleting things off.
So you've got that security knowing
Absolutely.
that you can control it at the levels within the team as well as within the end user and the customers.
100%.
And in thinking about challenges, have you experienced any with accessing the data? And if so, how was that addressed or overcome for you?
We haven't really found any issues accessing that data. I think we had one notification to come through that a certain time of night you might not be able to access it because you might be doing an update on it, but 12 o'clock at night or 2 o'clock in the morning, we're not operating at that time in the morning. So it's never really been an access issue for us.
For the support and training for the platform, how would you rate the customer support you've received from PATGuard Cloud? And have you had any experiences where you've had to reach out for further assistance?
Well, actually, everything's, like I said, has been quite self-explanatory as we've gone through. For whatever questions has been raised in the team and trying to get around that is we went straight onto the FAQ page and most of the time it's answered that for us. In the rare occasion that we have had an issue, we just can't find it, there is a help button on the top right hand side of PATGuard Cloud, and that takes you through to raise a ticket. And we normally get an answer back within 24 hours. And I think that's good enough for what our needs are.
Was the onboarding or training process for your team smooth? And what resources did you use to get everyone up to speed?
Well, actually, because there's only 3 of us in the office, although I'm out on the tools still quite a lot, we worked through that training and experimented basically with PATGuard Cloud before we started to migrate things over.
Was that in the trial?
So
software?
no, because I just went straight into, I just bought the software as I do and went straight into that license and thought, well, actually, as we progress, PATGuard and Seaward's progressing, so this is the next progression for us. So in that respect, we just sat down and thought, okay, let's look at this as a package. We need to see what we can do, what we can't do on it, what's different. But otherwise, there's no real training involved. Again, it's self-explanatory as you start to look through it.
So utilising the FAQs, the support pages and the help tickets has been enough in terms of getting you and the team up to speed because it's an intuitive platform to work
It is. There's a lot on there, but it's not difficult.
Have you encountered any challenges whilst using PATGuard Cloud? And if so, how did the platform help you address them?
I think the main challenge was just getting over the first hurdles of uploading and downloading data, what I can do, what I can't do, from MDB files to GAR files and PAT briefcase, and it's all these files. But actually raising that support ticket really helped us out in that respect. So to come over those hurdles was really quite quick.
Do you feel that the investment in PATGuard Cloud has saved your team time or resources?
So PATGuard Cloud is definitely giving us time back. It's making us efficient. From guys on the ground accessing data, to our customers accessing that data, and our office staff uploading, downloading data. So it's just made it all in all efficient. So PATGuard Cloud for us has streamlined our office work and admin.
Looking ahead, how do you see your business using PATGuard Cloud in the future? And are there any plans to expand or adapt to the software as your business grows?
So PATGuard Cloud, we have the business license. As our business grows, which we are doing, we're not just doing PAT testing, we're doing fire extinguishers, emergency lights. The list is now growing into the fire sort of sector. PAT testing being the predominant feature within our company. But as we grow, we want more reports, more bespoke reports. So we will be looking at going to the enterprise license as we move forward. And having that enterprise will give us more access to bespoke reporting.
How do you see the role of technology like PATGuard Cloud evolving in the portable appliance testing industry over the next coming years?
That's an interesting question. I have always had a look at different products on the market, and there is a lot of good products out there and different PAT testing software, but they don't meet my needs. PATGuard has always seemed to meet my needs. I can adapt, they can adapt, I can edit, we can work together, and it works seamlessly for us as a company. Moving forward, I think it's going to be able to cope with our demands as we go to that enterprise version.
And in conclusion, for other companies considering PATGuard Cloud, what advice or insights would you give them?
Well, first of all, go for the trial version. If it works for you, then talk to Seaward about it.
Not just dive straight in.
Don't dive straight in. Go for the trial version, have a look around it. If anybody wants to contact me and have a talk about how it works for me as a company, I don't mind that at all. But try the trial version first, go into that, and if it works for you as it does for me, then you'll be able to figure out which license works for your company.
And if you had to summarise your experience with PATGuard Cloud in one word, what would you say?
Simplicity.
Thank you so much, and thank you for coming and speaking with us today.
Thank you very much for inviting me.